Hi, I'm Jackie Lappin, and I am excited to be here as part of this amazing small business extravaganza that Blaney Teal has put together. And I have something for you that I think is going to absolutely be a juggernaut for you, that is going to transform your business if you are not already taking advantage of it. So today I want to talk to you about how to make business podcasts, videocasts, and radio your number one source of new clients. This is an important avenue that you can take advantage of that's just out there waiting for you. And especially if you are serving the B2B marketplace, those people that already have a business or are trying to gain the knowledge to have a business. If you're trying to reach entrepreneurs and leaders who run companies or people who are aspiring to have a better career, well, then I've got some great ways for you to get there. So today we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to share my knowledge and wisdom, and hopefully it will benefit you. So I'm really, really excited to be joining you today. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So hold on, and here we go. So as I said, we're going to talk about how to make business podcasts, videocasts, and radio your number one source of business, of new clients, prospering from the B2B shows that reach business owners, entrepreneurs, aspirants, and job seekers. And you know, there are over 1 million podcasts today, and a large portion of those are B2B. So they're out there for the pickings, and we're going to talk about how you can take advantage of that in this presentation. So I'm delighted to be a part of this, and here we get going. So you need to be where your audiences are, the people that are your next prospective clients. If you're a business coach or consultant or someone who has a product or service for business owners, solopreneurs, executives, or people seeking transition into business ownership, then getting on the right podcasts, radio shows, or videocasts is a powerful strategy to attract new clients. It's a showcase that's dedicated just to you. When you get one of these bookings, the host is basically there to shine a light on you and give you the opportunity to speak almost one-on-one to that audience. Whenever you have a showcase to demonstrate your expertise and position your resource as the solution to a problem that people in business face, you are creating a significant pipeline for growth, and without even all the investment of extensive marketing dollars. This really does equate to economic success for you. It's a direct pipeline to the people that you need. So in order to really make this work for you, you have to commit to connect. So it behooves you to either target and book these opportunities yourself, all these radio shows and podcasts, or dedicate one of your team members to the task, or hire an outside PR agency or other resources to book them for you. You need to make this a concerted part of your business strategy. So in order to do that, you need to designate the right people to do it. Or if you're doing it yourself, you need to make the right time commitment to do this. You need to actually carve time in your schedule to make sure that you are getting a steady stream of these opportunities and they don't slip past you. So my commitment to you today is that you'll discover why podcast, videocast, and radio are leading the way for businesses, the secrets to getting booked consistently, how to engage with hosts and the audiences for profitability, and where to find this gold mine of opportunity. Yes, it is really a gold mine. You're going to see how really profitable this can be for you. So the best thing is, if I can serve you today, let's give me about 40 minutes of your undivided attention. Be ready to fast track your notes, because hopefully I'm going to give you some things that are going to be beneficial that you're going to want to take advantage of. And stick around till the end, because you'll be rewarded with something that will make your podcast radio journey so much easier and much more successful. Some people dream of success while other people get up every morning and make it happen. And this comes, of course, from Wayne Huizinga, the great entrepreneur who's been, in the car business and other areas where he has shown great leadership and certainly has taken advantage of the media himself. And what he's saying is that you really can't wait for those interviews to come to you. You have to go out and get them. And once you do, you're going to find that more of them are coming to you, but you have to be the one that takes the bull by the horns to go out there and start this process and make sure that they are a consistent part of your schedule every single week. So let me tell you a little bit about who I am, if that's okay. I am an expert at helping leaders get booked. All my expertise has been about how to get people the exposure and the visibility that they need to grow their businesses. So for 35 years, I've been doing publicity, and over the last 12 years, focused on radio and podcast media tours and speaking engagements, ways for people to get in front of their audiences more effectively. And I have booked more than 10,000 interviews and speaking engagements throughout my career. And I can tell you that all of that time, I kind of figured out what works and what doesn't work. And I want to share that with you. And I'm the creator of SpeakerTunity, the speaker and leader resource company. We are the providers of everything that is in the speaker's toolbox. If you need to get out in front of audiences, well, we are the people who have helped you do that. So we have a vast variety of resources where we help speaker and leaders get on various kinds of stages, whether it's virtual and live speaking engagements or radio shows and podcasts or virtual summits or virtual networking or TEDx directories, and then the tools and the resources such as Speaker One Sheets and the training programs that will help get you booked so that you can really get in front of these audiences. So in the 12 years of doing radio podcast tours, we've helped 200 luminaries, leaders, entrepreneurs, coaches, filmmakers, and authors grow their businesses, sell more books, create viewership, and change more lives by introducing them up to 9,000 radio shows and podcasts and videocasts on a regular basis. We continue to do that program these days, and we're excited that we're going to have our best year ever this year. And of course, more people are sitting at home listening to radio shows and podcasts than ever before. And we have identified 700 business-oriented radio shows and podcasts that we pitch for business experts. And when I say radio shows, that's the same thing as podcasts, essentially. The whole spectrum of radio, whether that's internet radio, podcasts, and broadcast radio. And adapting to the changing environment and growing the number of opportunities. So these, as podcasts have expanded and grown, obviously that's where the shift of the emphasis has been going. And we're grateful to have about 75 glowing reviews proving that we've really produced, we know how to pitch for maximum impact. So why podcasts, videocasts, and radio shows? Well, the sheer size. As I say, there's 1 million podcasts out there, which is a vast variety of subjects that they cover. And so many of them are in the business space. They're targeted and they're dedicated audience. So in other words, with old time radio shows, when you just got on a morning show, you didn't know who you were reaching. The nice thing about podcasts, it directly reaches to an audience that's specifically interested in a topic. And in your case, it's business. And of course, we also do life and enhancing radios, not just business, but for your purposes, we're going to talk about business today. And the nice part about the podcast today is to give you a whole hour to do for people to get to know, like, and trust you. I mean, it's a long sales pitch, essentially, but not just a sales pitch. It's an opportunity for them to really get a sense of who you are and then provide what you need in that sense. Provide what they need. And it's an implied endorsement. When a host introduces you, it's like them saying, hey, I approve of these people. You should do business with them. And you can either promote directly by offering a specific product or resource, or you can simply gather leads or prospects by making a free offer. And sometimes you're restricted by one and you can do the other. So it gives you really lots of flexibility to connect people and get them into your community. So, the know, like, and trust factor is immediate and significant when you're doing these kinds of podcasts. It's constant visibility, constant new audience. If you're doing a steady stream of them, you're in front of new people all the time. And now many people are video casts where the broadcast has been added to YouTube and other kinds of archives so that people will see you, not just hear you, and they will be able to pick up on long after the interview is done and be able to hear you again or at another time, and you'll continue to get clients from me. That's one of the nice things. And for lots of people who want to listen, it gives them an opportunity to time shift. So in the old days, if you'd missed the interview, you were done. Here, people can just go into the archives and listen to you later on. And it's an ongoing sales funnel, and that's the real nice part about it. And hosts can turn into JV partners. That's what's really nice. A lot of times when you align with a host that's really perfect and you share the same audience, they are happy to send for you, do webinars, summits, and all kinds of other joint venture opportunities. So let's talk about the hosts and the producers and how you connect with them and who they might be. So this is what a host of a podcast is going to be looking for. The hosts and the producers. And by the way, producers, on the biggest shows, they might have a producer. On broadcast radio, that's the same of true. In most cases, the producer and the host are the one and the same. The hosts and the producers are very discriminating in the business space and about who they select, more so than the general shows. I mean, that's kind of a truism that makes it a little bit tougher to get booked, but these are the ways that you're going to get booked. So I'm going to help even the odds here. They want you to have a great presenter with a track record. They want to see that you've presented before and that you really have done a good job of getting the audience engaged and serving them. They want to know that you've listened to the show and know the format. Most business hosts really would like you to have at least listened to one of their shows. And they want you to be bringing valued content, not just a sales pitch. This is really critical. If you come in and just do a sales pitch, they're going to be pissed off. They need you to give them great valued content so that their audience feels satisfied, satiated, but not so satiated that they don't want what you offer next. So it's kind of like a really valuable teaser program. They expect you to have high quality production values, good lighting, a good microphone, solid internet so the show doesn't get interrupted or faded in and out, or you get that notification that says bad internet. And they want you to have an attractive visual background which can be virtual or live, with whatever the background is. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And keep in mind, obviously no beds and things like that. They want it sharp looking. It can be a backdrop, etc. They want you to adapt to their format or broadcast methodology, whether that's Zoom, phone, Skype, Facebook Live, StreamYard, or other platforms. So you obviously need to be ready to present on any of the formats that they might offer you. They want you to provide quality materials for promotion, an up-to-date image, not something that's 10 years old, before you went gray or had a few wrinkles. So yeah, I'm not saying that you can't, do a little photoshopping on a more current photo, but make sure that it's new. A comprehensive media kit with questions they can ask so that they know that they don't have to go figuring out what to ask you in the interview. A summary of the subject matter that you will be presenting, because they want to be able to promote you and they want to be able to take that summary and use it as promotion. If you've written a book, they will want it in advance, either digitally or via a hard copy. They may allow you to make a free offer to the listeners and viewers. Be ready for this. And we can talk a little bit more about this later on, but you need to have this for just about any circumstances. Even if you're making a full offer, sometimes you might want to also make a free offer. They will likely want to hear success stories. So case histories, Who has been transformed by what you're bringing to the table? How is their business ratcheted up? So these are all really important factors that you need to know. They will expect you to get to the point and not be overly long with your responses, going into the weeds with detail. So this is really important. Too often people are so in love with their process or in love with the whole of what they're offering, and it's too much. They don't want you going into the weeds. They want you to stay on point, get to the point quickly, and really, deliver only the highlights. And they expect you to inform, educate, engage, or move and entertain their audience. So it's more than just content that you're delivering. You need to do it in a way that makes people excited and not monotone, and somehow make them feel like they're sitting and having a conversation with you. So let's talk about when you're offering yourself as a guest. How are you going to do that? How are you going to get booked? These are some of the secrets that you need to know. You can use one of two different vehicles to pitch your interviews, or even combine these two. So the first choice is a more extensive, and it's what we do and has really worked for us. And the second is kind of the new trend. So, and you can actually put them together. So let's talk about both of these. The first thing is a pitch letter. Now, this is a well-written pitch letter that focuses on the problems you solve for the listener or the viewer. Now, this is the number one mission that you have when you are communicating to your potential booker. The one thing that is going to make the biggest difference is, what are you going to do to transform the listener? How are you going to change their business? How are you going to change their life? How are you going to give them hope that there's an alternate? How are you going to increase their prosperity? How are you going to drive more clients to them? If you can show this, then that is what the booker is looking for and to present to you. And so this is a sample kinds of pitch letter that I'm talking about right here, where we really talk about the outcome. What is the outcome going to be? In this case, we say that 70% of jobs come through networking. Are you doing it right? Discover the mistakes that sabotage your job search. In other words, the outcome is you're not going to make these mistakes. You're going to be able to do something that will get people excited without stepping on your own feet. The next thing is, what are your credentials and accomplishments in the field? That's the really core part, the middle part of your pitch letter. Why you? Who is it that you are bringing to the table that is the expert for this? What is your background? Have you written a book? What is your business success? Who are the clients that you've served? All of those kinds of things. And then the last part of the pitch letter is really about what you would be presenting. In other words, what is the content of this interview going to be about? And we like to put them bullet points toward the end there that says that your audience will hear, or he will speak about, or she will address the following, and put in the bullet points that are unique and special, and they're going to make this an interesting interview and sound like something different than ever been heard. That's really what's going to make a powerful pitch letter that is going to get people to pay attention to you. Now, the second one, the next tool that is really valuable is this new trendy thing. And it's a professionally designed podcast introductory sheet. And this is where you don't have to go into a lot of explanation about the content of the interview. It's much more simple than that, where you simply have a bio that speaks again to the what problem you solve. And again, your headline also needs to address that. So you're going to have a powerful headline and the bio that speaks to this issue. And of course, it covers your credentials as well. But it's a little bit more compact. And then short thumbnails on the topics that you like to address, anywhere from 3 to 5 of them, so that when the host looks at it, they say, that's what I want to address, or let's have him or her talk about these 2 things. And then a couple of really powerful testimonials. Now, in this case, you can either have testimonials from people who booked you or people who have taken you up on your business offer and shown how it transformed their business. So either of these things can go into it. And if you have a graphics that really make it stand out, where, obviously you need a great headshot, but you might have a book, you might have a logo. And then if there are logos from other shows that you've been on or companies that you served, you can add those logos into this too. And it really makes a powerful 1-page document. It's just 1 page. And so it can really impact, and you can send these to hosts with a cover letter saying, hey, would you consider please booking me on your show? Here's the category of, what I speak on, and I've attached my podcast introductory sheet. And that is a really quick and easy way to really help people move forward in their podcast sheets. Now, the next thing is a comprehensive media kit. So when you are doing your media kit, when you're doing your interviews, once you get booked, then you really need to give the host a document that helps them sell you. You need to get them up to speed on who you are and what you're offering and your expertise, so that they, in fact, know how to present you to this audience. And it also gives them copies of things that they can cut and paste, so that they're presenting you on their, this show is coming up, or, so-and-so is going to join me, or they're going to put it on their vlog or their blog that you're going to be coming along. So here's what goes into a comprehensive media kit. The first thing is a main release. Now, this release basically summarizes what the topic is that you're going to be addressing. What is it, and a little bit about your expertise. This is all about a summary of why this interview is happening and what it is going to bring to the audience. Now, the next part of that is a full biography on you. Give a page and a half, that's great. And a single space, by the way, this does not have to be a double space. A full biography that explains, why, all of your background, so they know how you got to where you are. And, especially if that's pertinent, maybe you have had an experience that your story is part of it, how you went through some an issue that was challenging and you overcame it, and this is how you came to what it is that you're offering today. So you want to really tell that story in your biography, and you want to include a nice little photograph of you in there too. The next thing is the on-air introduction. This is 4 to 5 paragraphs of what the host will read when they're introducing you to the audience. And that's really an exciting thing to provide, so that you don't have to allow them to try to figure out what to say about you and then make a mess of it, and then you're embarrassed. So this way you give them exactly what you want to say, and 99% of the time they do. The next thing is 20 questions that you want to be asked in the order that you want to be asked them. This is really, really important. So when you are bringing your media kit to them, it's a roadmap. It is designed to give the host tools to make it easy for them to do the interview, but it's also for you to lead the listener, the viewer, in a specific direction. What do you want them to know about you? What do you want them to know about your product? What do you want them to know about taking advantage of what you're bringing to the table? All of that should be in your 20 questions. The first 5 are the most important, so that if, for example, it is a shorter version, like a radio interview, you get all the key stuff in. But then you can elaborate it so that if it's an hour interview or a 30-minute interview, you really can get in a lot of the key points as you go along. And then the next thing is the learn more page. And this is really important because this tells the host in bullet point how the public can engage with you. If you have a book, what your website is, if you have an e-course or a product or a coaching program or a mastermind or any one of these things, it should be listed under this page, briefly described, and a link to it. And then all your social media links. That's really important with these radio and podcast hosts. They want to know where you're promoting, and they want to know how they can promote you and connect with you. So you want to put your social media and obviously your website in there. So the graphics, I recommend that you put some kind of header graphic in between each one of these. On the top of each one of these pages that kind of delineates and makes it very clear that this is a new section. And you can use anything such as a brand identifier, a logo, a book cover, the wording from the top of a book cover, anything that really speaks to what it is that you're speaking about and who you are. So let's talk about identifying and connecting with your shows. This is really the next important step, because you really need to be speaking to the right audiences. You don't want to waste your time doing things that are unproductive, that don't really produce the kind of results that you want to see. So let's talk about the identifying the specific kinds of shows and what the criteria is. So when you're trying to try to match yourself to the right audience, you need to look at these factors. So it will influence what the, if you're not picking the right target shows, one, you're not going to get booked on them. Two, you're going to be wasting your time. And three, you're not going to be in alignment with the shows that are right for you. So let's focus on how to find the right ones and get you booked on them. The first thing is, what are the audience demographics? If you have a solution that's for women business owners at middle-aged, and the audience is young, hotshot millennials, then this isn't going to be working. So you really need to focus on that particular demographic that you are trying to reach, so that it's right in concert with it. The next thing is the audience mindset match, or the problem that they're trying to resolve. Is this group of people, are they having an issue with they have the wrong money mindset, or they have had financial setbacks, or they're newbies to the business world, and they really don't understand what's facing them in terms of their financials, or so you need to think about what they're thinking at this point and see if what you got is a match for this audience. And again, obviously, if this audience has a specific problem that you solve, that's really a key to it. So the next thing is, what specific industry are you trying to talk to? Obviously, that's a critical action. If your product or resource is something for the coaching industry, or the automotive industry, or the real estate industry, or the insurance industry, then obviously you're looking for those shows that fit into that parameter. The next thing is geographical match. Now, let's assume that in some cases you are really focused on a specific region, so that because you want to get people to come to you. And we're really talking also not just, statewide, or we're also talking internationally. So for example, that if you have a retreat that happens in the US, and it's really unlikely you're going to get people from, South Africa or China, then you need to focus on obviously shows that are demographically suited to you. But even if you have a product or resource where you have to drive to it, for example, you want to be looking at things that are in drivable distance of you. Now in podcasts, obviously they go to everywhere, but radio shows, that's a factor, and you want to look at that. And then speak to enroll or free. And now in some cases, a host may say to you that it's perfectly okay for you to make an offer to enroll people into your business or program or whatever it is. And some may say, no, you can't do that. You can only make a free offer. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So you need to, if you only want to do one or the other, you need to establish that the shows that you're going to be on will only take that kind of opportunity. But if not, if you're open to that, then you're okay to speak on virtually any platform. And then audience purchasing ability. If you're dealing with a group that really doesn't have a lot of money and you've got a high priced product, that's not going to work. So you need to evaluate that when you're looking at the kinds of shows that you're going to be on. And how far out are they booked? I mean, if you're promoting an event, and, these podcasts go, sometimes they are taped in one place and then 2 months later they air. So you need to really look and see how that's going to impact something if you're on a time factor. If you're not on a time factor, then no worries. You can just do any show, and but know that some of them may be booked out 2 or 3, 4 months, even when you actually start booking them. So you may not get on their shows till 4 or 5 months later. Is this B2B or consumer focused? Do you need to speak to the consumer out there? Do you need to talk to just a B2B audience? Like, we're largely focused on here. So that's going to make a difference. And then the size of the listenership. Many people don't care. They just want to talk to audiences that, are, and frankly, all it takes is one client, even in a small audience. I know people that have talked to 3,000 people on speaking engagements, and then later that week they talked to 25 and they made way more money on the room full of 25 people, just because it had the right audience and the right listeners. So, but if listenership is a factor to you and you only want to talk to the big shows and you really have that specific, well, then you're going to have to look at that specifically yourself too. And then the receptivity of the host and a personal connection. Obviously, it's a whole lot easier to get on a show if you know the host, or that you're in the same field, or you're aware of each other, or you have a personal connection of some kind. So choose who you will interface, that will do this interface. Is it going to be you that are actually going to be making these calls and sending these pitches? Is it going to be a staff person, a virtual assistant, or an outside agency or agent? This is a critical decision, because when you are doing this, you have to have confidence in the person that is doing this. But more than that, you need to make sure that they know what it is that they are doing and they have complete guidance. So let's talk about it. If it's somebody other than you, you need to direct the team member who will select the shows and pitch. You need to give them clear direction as to what you want them to do, the chronology, the materials that you want to give them. You want to see everything before it goes out the first few times. You want to really manage the process. That's the first thing. You want to also set outreach goals. And this is really important, especially when you're working with outside people. And you can't necessarily guarantee results, but you can say that, okay, we want to reach out to 50 people in the next 2 weeks, and with an intention to book at least 5 or 6 interviews. Set those goals so that the person who's doing it really works toward those goals. It's not saying that they, that don't fire somebody right off the bat, because sometimes it's a little harder than it looks. But make sure that everybody is on the same page and looking at the same goals. Determine the best timing or days for the interview if there is flexibility in your schedule. If you are only available certain days, well, that's going to make it a little bit more challenging, but make sure that that person knows what those availabilities or what those hours are. And set a tracking and follow-up system so that you can see what's going on. Put it on Google Docs or some other kinds of project management system where you can see what's happening. And your person can actually track and know, I have to follow up with this person. This person said to come back in 2 months, et cetera. And so, you know what's going on, and, and you can systemize this. And decide if you will be pitching one-on-one or doing an e-blast. Now, pitching one-on-one has a lot of benefits. You can personalize it. You can, even the subject line, which really tells the host that you're really directing it to them. You can change it up for the individual person that you're pitching it to. An e-blast, you're going to get, it's a great, effective way to get things out quickly, and then do the follow-up on it. But sometimes, there are some people that won't respond to an e-blast. So it may not be as effective than one-on-one pitching. Then optimization. Personalize each pitch on the subject line, like I just said, because that's a real benefit to making sure. Never send a pitch that says, "Dear Sir, dear Madam," any of the dear producer, dear host. That does not work. You want to follow up your emails with phone calls and make sure that, I know it's a challenge to get people's cell phones in this day and age, but if you can, try to get to them and reach out to them. If you cannot reach them either by phone calls or emails, then the next best thing is to follow up on LinkedIn or Facebook Messenger. In today's world, a lot of people are there. And so that's a great way to extend that follow-up and see if you can get somebody to pay attention to you that might not be responding to phone calls and email pitches. And you want to nail down the details and integrate them into your calendar. So as soon as you've got all the specifics and the links and all of those kinds of, make sure it goes into your calendar right away so that it somehow doesn't slip past you. And then, or have your assistant or VA do that. And then track the results if you can and analyze what's working, what kinds of shows. You can even do split testing in this situation, different pitches to different groups, and see what's working and figure out what's the most effective. And one of the things that we do is a lot of times we'll do one send and then we'll do a second send with a different subject line. And that a lot of times we'll get response that we didn't get the first time around. So you want to engage with the hosts and the audiences for profitability. You really want to make sure that when you're on these shows, you're doing the right things that's actually going to generate business for you. So you want to have a plan and a specific pathway for engagement. Now, I talked to you a little bit about, some of the things that the opportunities either to make an offer of enrollment or do a free offer. So here's some simple information. Have a clear, easy, simple offer for a sales opportunity if permitted. Just make it, that they can go to one link, make it clear what the offer is, and then, don't overcomplicate it. Encourage prospects to contact you or the company for exploratory conversation. That's another way to do it. If you're not making a full offer, you can simply say, hey, contact us. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, or one of my team can do that. And here's how to do that. Simple and easy. And then provide a free consultation or analysis that leads to a sales conversation. Here's this free opportunity to have a conversation with us, for us to look at what's in your business might need some changing. And then of course that then will lead to some further sales conversation. Then here's where it really gets fun. If you can't do that, or sometimes in addition, you can do this, make a free offer that leads to a funnel. That, that is the fastest and the easiest way to start building your list so that you can remarket to people to build that relationship that ends up in a long-term sales and a relationship, somebody that you can be selling to again and again and again. So, you can use such a thing as a free ebook, or even use, and I want to offer an opportunity for you to take a look at something that we've created called 44 Ways to Seduce Your Next Client from Stage, Podcasts, Radio Shows, Virtual Summits, and Virtual Networking. This great little tool will open up your eyes as to what kinds of free things you can offer besides a consultation and an ebook. These are just so many cool different ideas. So take advantage of SpeakerTunity.com/seduce to grab this. Really simple, and it's going to really give you lots of great ideas. Now, you can also use a book as the entry for engagement, and then also couple that with a free offer, or you can give them a free chapter of the book. But a book is a great way to walk into a room if you're using it as a calling card. Or on a radio show, you can give it to them as either a digital version of it, or have them. You can either give it away, sell it, or just have them pay the postage. And then you want to drive people to your website. Obviously, that's a really critical aspect of this. In every case, you never want to overlook the opportunity in every interview to drive people to your website. You want to create desire. Here's how you do that. This is where you really hit the sweet spot. You drive them to what is going to really fulfill what is their craving. So you want to present the pain, the benefits, and the outcome. When you're on these interviews, and make sure that your questions help do this, you want to really carve out for them what it is that they're suffering from. Paint the picture. You just even ask questions. Have you ever experienced this? I mean, and of course, they have. You want to talk about the benefits and what those benefits will be. And then, and touch on, what is going to be the kinds of experiences that they're going to have that's going to be the transformation for them. And then ultimately the final outcome, where are they going to be on the other side of it, how happy they're going to be, how prosperous they're going to be, how business is going to grow, et cetera. You need to seed the conversation throughout the entire interview. You want to talk about your success stories and case histories. We talked that in the beginning. Even if they don't ask you about them, you want to present some of them. You want to include that in your questions. And you can do demonstrations or hot seats. You can have people come on the show and you can actually do an analysis or right there for them and show the tricks of your trade so that people say, wow, I want to take advantage of that. You want to portray the cost of not accepting your offer. What is it going to cost them not to take advantage of what you're doing? How is this going to be challenging for them if they don't do this? You want to paint that picture in the prospect's mind. When you do this, you're going to get them so excited, and they really, really will be locked into you. Now let's talk about finding your shows. I'm going to give you some ideas of where you can find these shows that are going to make a difference for you. So there are very few networks dedicated to just business programming. Therefore, you're going to need to create a list from multiple sources. You're going to have to go to different places on the web to find the business shows if you're going to do this on your own. Here's some of the places that you can find them. You can mine the business channels at Blog Talk and Voice America, the big internet radio show aggregators. They all have business channels. The next thing is you want to go to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast aggregators for their business channels. These are called podcatchers. And there are so many of them. They're proliferating everywhere. These are just some of the big ones. There is one radio network it's not a podcast network. It's an internet radio, business talk radio. You can take advantage of that one. And you can comb local and national broadcast outlets for business shows. They're still out there, and they're not as plentiful as they used to be, but they still are there, and they are a good resource if you can get booked on them. And you want to check YouTube for video casts that are regular, that occur. I should say, you want to check YouTube for video casts that recur regularly, that are ongoing shows and channels, essentially, and that host business guests. So that's a really key way to take advantage of it, and as you're trying to find your own shows. And the hunt continues. Most of these show websites don't post contact information or submission links. You will need to hunt down the host on a personal website or submit the pitch on a website contact form. That is one of the liabilities of having to try to do this all on your own and track them down. It does take a lot of time. It's a lot of effort to do this. It can seem pretty daunting. I have to admit to you, it really can. So, but there really is a much easier way, and I want to tell you about it. What if you could have 40 new B2B shows simply handed to you and your team every single month? 40 of them. I mean, we're not talking just a few here. We're talking 40. Just think how many of those you might be able to book in a month. How much time would that save you? How much money? How many headaches? How much faster could you get to profitability? Just think. More shows, more money, more success. So let me introduce you to SpeakerTunity Radio Insider for Business. This is 40 podcasts, videocasts, and radio shows delivered to you monthly with the contact, the email, the phone, the description, and the link for each. Our track record, we have hundreds of subscribers for our original SpeakerTunity Radio Insider for life-enhancing radios. Now we are stretching ourselves because we have collected all these business shows over the years, and we want to put them all in one place. So what types of shows does this cover? Business building, leadership and management skills, entrepreneur, sales, women's business development, personal and business finance, corporate growth and employee retention, job skills, mission-driven and purpose-driven business development, specific industries, and much more. What is this pitching done, business focus done for our business? Well, we attribute 35 of the radio podcast tours that have resulted from this that we've gotten, 300 subscribers in our other SpeakerTunity products, and an increase of 30% of JV partners who are out there promoting for us. And here's what our subscribers are saying, that, if you're just thinking about signing up for SpeakerTunity radio podcast sheets, just do it. It's created a way that's reasonably priced and full of great contacts. And I'm so thrilled with SpeakerTunity radio podcast tip sheets. We have booked over 20 shows in the last year. This one says these directories are accurate, informative, and lucrative. If you're even wondering about purchasing, don't waste your time. Purchase now. And that's from a gal that's made $50,000 in sales resulting from SpeakerTunity. So yes, we can produce, and we know we would love to do that for you. So this is for you if your business is stagnant or slipping and you want to re-inject it. You're tired of waiting for word of mouth to drive new clients. You want to develop a pipeline of success that continues to drive revenue without end. You want a source of new business that doesn't involve ad spending, and you want to heighten visibility, awareness, credibility, and memorability that will have prospects coming to you rather than you finding them. You want to be where your prospects are. So this is a simple $49 a month. Just over $1 a lead, and they'll keep them coming to you. And one particular client is going to, cover that cost for you. But if you really want to do this all in one, we can make that available, a year of leads for you, plus a training program, how to rocket your radio and podcast bookings with all the details of how to do that, and your podcast sheet all in one. That is our quick start program. So if you want to invest in that, that's $997 US together. These will make all of the difference for you. So these are the two options for you. The individual SpeakerTunity Radio Insider per month, $49, and then our $997 radio quick start program for you. And here is where you can take advantage of it. Go to getbooked.biz/radio special -Blaney Teal. So I'm going to give that to you again, www.getbooked.biz/radio special -Blaney Teal. So I invite you to take advantage of either of these two options so that we can help make sure that you get booked quickly, efficiently, and get all the radio shows that you want. And to keep in mind that, if this isn't exactly what you're looking for, if you want just plain life-enhancing radio shows, you can always go over to our website. But we're here to serve you and help you get more visibility. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here today and to help you make a difference in your business by getting you booked on radio shows, podcasts, and videocasts. So this is Jackie Lappin, and it's been a delight to be here today. And I really hold a vision for you that you are on all the shows that are making you prosperous and expanding and achieving the financial freedom that you would like to have. Thank you.